Hello everyone, this is MV broadcasting from Cardiff, Wales. Cardiff, Wales. Hello to everybody. This is another exhibition game. This is done at 5 o'clock UK time. So in the United States, I know you've had, for those listening in the United States that is, I know that it's probably lunchtime. So hopefully get a little broadcast in, a cheeky one, as we say. Um, and this is using Steve Tate's wonderful beta file. I've done a few of these already. I've even done an APA one, which is using a homebrew, uncredited homebrew. Looking forward to receiving my official APA Negro Leagues. But the purpose of the broadcast is to continue to um, get people interested in the Negro Leagues. I myself was aware of them maybe say 25 years ago, and I'm amazed with recent developments in my studies and research and how far, you know, sites like, excuse me, Seamheads have come along and other resources have developed to get the statistics in for these players. Steve Tate is someone in the community who's been around for a long time, but I've only discovered in, say, the last 5 or 6 months that has really enlightened and helped reignite my passion for baseball, along with the great Beatles Eternally. So I always like to start these broadcasts by setting out some props, and the props go to Beatles Eternally, as always. Steve Tate, of course, it's his beta file I'm using for February. There is a new one, Steve, which, hint, 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 I wouldn't mind having a little look at. But this is fine. I'm having a ball with these ones, to be honest with you. Obviously to Dave Cook and all the guys that hang out at the variety of wonderful broadcasters like RJL, Beatles Eternally, Robbie Wartburg, such knowledgeable Sabre members that I've come across now. I know Ken Castro is one, Big Clue, so knowledgeable, Club, just so many people that are just so involved in baseball or sport in general. There's just so many. Legends Universe, another one. There's too many to mention, but you'll know who you are. So, this is an exhibition. I haven't quite decided who I want to use yet, but I took off the restriction on a 25-man roster. I'm going to go with what I know, which is I really do like the look of this 1920-24 team. Now, just for starters, I know Steve has updated these, not so much the statistics, but more the players, if it's possible to do so. And there's a team in the 20s, I think it's a 25-29 team, otherwise known as the Greens in my eyes, but known as the Bears and Steves, who are just sensational in terms of the talent that they've got. So much so, I have to leave out so many players, you know. But like Cooper Bell, I don't think I've actually seen him play yet, to be honest with you. But I'm getting to know the players. The more you play with them, the more you get to know. I recently was part of the Ned McGreevy League on Beatles Eternally channel, and through him, I've been drawn back to baseball. But more importantly, I've got to learn even more about the dead ball era, because in the old days, if I bought a book on baseball, which I've got plenty, I'd always skip the era and just move straight into, you know, life after 1920, you know, so Babe Ruth time, more or less, although Babe was in the dead ball era himself, although banned for the Ned McGreevy. That's Ned McGreevy's own history. But I just found it really interesting. I feel that there is a need to expand the knowledge of Negro leaguers. It's coming into gaming even more. We know MLB The Show are introducing, I think it's 5 players on release. One of which is John Donaldson, who I've got my cursor over at the moment. And John Donaldson was someone I can take some pride in saying to Steve, Steve, I found a guy. And he's a two-way player. I think he's known for his pitching more than he's hitting. It's that famous line from The Sopranos. Was he pitching or was he hitting? Something like that. It's quite a funny line. But here's a great left-hand pitcher who played for over 30 years. His best pitch was his curveball. And up until MLB The Show, I hadn't seen much stuff on John Donaldson anywhere. And then all of a sudden, within a week of me finding this guy, and this was in the early days of the build, there he was on MLB The Show as one of the showcase players. I was delighted. I felt like I had something to do with it, which I haven't, but it did feel that way. John Donaldson, amazing, amazing player. So I might get a start out of him today. So this is what I feel it needs. I feel like an evangelist that just needs to go out there and in the gaming community anyway. That's what I feel, along with Beatles and Steve and others, to evangelize might be the right word actually about these fantastic players. You know, I feel like the days of what do you call it? What's it when I used to watch Field of Dreams, which I might have to watch again, where those players come to life. Notoriously absent were the Negro League players, and I feel like this project, and not just our project or Steve's project or whichever project is out there, I feel like it's a Field of Dream moment. So every time I play, I kind of imagine them all coming to life, like ghosts from the past or echoes of baseball excellence from the past, and I feel related to them because I'm a baseball fan. My heritage is Jamaican. I live in Wales, and I'm from England, but lived close to the United States, so I'm really connected, I feel, to this whole project. But it doesn't matter what your ethnic background is. It's just appreciating the excellence of such players, I think, is important, you know. And every time I get to the screen, I just learn something new. So on screen, for example, I've got this gentleman called Dizzy Dismukes, who was just a name a few weeks ago. And now suddenly, he's more than a name. You know, he's a pitcher. I've run into his background. I believe he's an educated guy. Apparently he taught Carl Mays the submarine pitching style. The very same pitching style, I believe, that knocked out Ray Chapman and killed him, sadly, in 1920. Ray Chapman, I believe, was a shortstop at with the Cleveland Indians. I'm still not quite sure. But I've heard of Ray Chapman for many, many years. A very sad story. But when you start to look at the background of these players, like Dizzy Dismukes, from what I understood, like I said, I knew he was a good pitcher on a spreadsheet, and then Steve built him, and great, and I saw Steve's wonderful notes. But then I thought, well, let's have a look at him, find out what's what. And one of the things I like about Action, it allows you to go onto the internet. So, press Tinternet. Someone once said to me, Mark, what's the difference between the Tinternet and the internet? I'm still laughing about that to this day, and that was years ago. So, Dismukes was a right-handed submariner. This is from Wiki, by the way, so I'm not using, you know, some Saber reference or Seamhead reference. It's just for me to get an idea of the history. And straight away, I know from what I have read more officially, doesn't mention it here, is that he was a soldier that went across to France. It took about 4 weeks to go a boat from the US to France, where he would work with the, let's get rid of that, where he would work with the, you know, unloading and loading cargo. Because at the time, if I understand this right, there were black units, but they weren't fighting units initially anyway. They did become so, and certainly during World War II they did. But in the First World War, obviously at the times, things weren't as they are now. There's a lot of progression now, obviously. But by reading about him, by Steve's wonderful research and Seamheads and all of these wonderful sources of information, I feel like I'm building my cornfield. Does that make sense? And that cornfield, we're all probably building a cornfield. Those of us who are not historians as of the Negro League. For example, Beatles for me, is a great historian. So is Ken. And, you know, Steve. They've all got much more knowledge than I have. But I have a workable knowledge, there's no doubt. So I've been following baseball since 1977, but really into it since 1983. And I'm of an age, I'm in my 50s now, where I can pick up a book and delve deep. I'm from a management and educational background, so it's my job to explore theories and so on and so forth. So this is right up my alleyway. Or Beatles' alleyway, where he mugged me and got me into this deep. Well, they say, inch wide, mile deep. And if I'm in a hole, Steve's further down that hole. So it's been great fun. So let's get to it. Enough of me rambling on. And let's have a look at Dizzy Dismukes. I've played with him before. I did have his stats in exhibition, because what I learned from this, I didn't think he kept all the stats for exhibition. I don't seem to hear it at the moment. But for some reason, I did have some exhibition stats at one point. Maybe on a different file. Maybe that's what it was. So anyway, let's get to it. So, because I could look at the screen all day and just talk about the players. So I'm looking at the screen here, and just a quick look down the screen tells me that we've got some players I'd like to see. So I'm going to use the 30-39s, otherwise it's going to be known as the blue team, light blue team. Here's a team that I've definitely used before, and I'm looking at the players. I've used a few of those. Just looking at this High Pockets Hudspeth, first base, Charlie Blackman. A lot of people call Hall here, so it may be duplicates, which it is. Ben Taylor, and I'm beginning to learn a bit more about the players, as in the value of the players, like obviously Oscar Charleston, who was just a name to me before. I knew who Josh Gibson was. Speaking of whom, where is Josh Gibson? He might be here. So, this is a team I've used before. I really enjoyed using them. So I will go with this one. I'm not worried about what park they're playing. That's an out of the park baseball park. I'll stick with that for the time being. And we shall start. I'll put myself, let's see if I can manage first. I might switch. But here's the teams. This is the 1940 to 49 Ballers, as Steve calls them. It'll be the red team for me today. And I shall pick what I want. So this is versus lefties. So we'll want, let's put the computer line up anyway. It's going to be against Satchel Paige, so he's a righty. So computer versus righty. And let's see if there's anyone I want that's not in there. So I've got a guy called Butts. Have I come across him before? Have I come across Butts? That does sound a bit dodgy, but let's just see. I can't see the name there at all. Can you see it? Okay, I can now. So if I do runs created, which I do like looking at that particular stat, because they create runs, why not? Why wouldn't they? Buck Leonard needs to be in there. I'm sorry. So what we need to do is go to depth, just make sure I've generated the depth correctly. I'm sure there's an easy way to do that, and Steve, if you come on next, or Beatles, or anyone else, please show me how to make this stay with what you say. It doesn't keep doing this all the time. So it's doing it now, anyway. Let's do now. They're going to be playing against Satchel Paige. Right, gotcha. So I'm looking at the stat here versus righty. Get the best team I can get. I'm looking at defense. 6.2, 5.4, 5.7, 6.3. Stick with the 6.3 if it comes back up again. Oh, come on. How many variations does it go through? Oh, that's my mistake. So I've just learnt something there for myself on action. It's randomly generating some of those lineups. Went past 6.2. So I'll just do my own, shall I? Much easier. So if I had a lead-off hitter, what would I be looking for with it? 1940 to 49 Ballers. Well, some of the spots are fairly straightforward to do. If I go with depth, it's saying Roy Campanella versus a lefty. Quincy Troop, is it Quincy Troop? Yep, what is it? Now, my own experience with using Quincy Troop, as you get to know them a little bit, is switch hitter, one of the greatest catchers of all time in Negro leagues, which then puts him in the same position in the major leagues. This is his MLEs, I believe, from Steve would know how he's done this with his secret sauce, as he calls it. 499 slugging is going to be pretty good. So, do it by position might be a bit quicker. Just a little bit. Runs created. Let's try that again. Buck Leonard has to be in. As the greatest run producer, the Black Lou Gehrig. So let's just put him in at first instead of Washington. Thank you, Buck. Monty Irvin needs to be in. And this is not the left field Monty Irvin of 1954. This is a shortstop Monty Irvin of whenever he's been built. So let's have a quick look at Monty Irvin. Now, my understanding of Monty Irvin is that he was on the commission in 1972 at the Hall of Fame when, not long after the Ted Williams, I think it was the 66, said that they needed to have spots for the Negro Leaguers. Monty Irvin was put on some sort of baseball commission or something like that in the Negro Leagues, or he was one of the selectors. I think Satchel was in first. I think it was Bowie Kuhn who, or Kun, who, ironic if he was called that, but Harry Kuhn was the one who got them in, along with another gentleman, and Sacha was first, followed by and Matt Monty Irvin was selected, I believe, to then nominate. I think there's 3 players ever after that. So it's been interesting to see. Okay. So without further ado, Monty Irvin is in, Hall of Famer. So 2 Hall of Famers. We've got Larry Doby, again another historic player. There's a gentleman called Easterling, I think it's Howard Easterling from my memory, that is in there above him. Now for some reason I can't see Howard Easterling on my screen. If I keep coming down, there he is. Saying third base on here. He's playing second in the lineup. Howard Easterling I've actually played with already. Let's have a quick look at Howard Easterling. Played from 1936 to 47, 36 to 46. Productive hitter and a 5-time All-Star. Pretty good. I'm going on Larry Doby by name, but also I'm going by Larry Doby on his runs created with 7.7. So if I was choosing between the 2, a second baseman and All-Star for the Newark Eagles, joined the MLB after Larry Doby, so we all know him. So I'm going to put him in. If I look at his fielding, second baseman 7. Howard Easterling is a third baseman, playing second. Good draft choice if you're looking for a draft choice. In the pivots, a 5. And as a second baseman, 7. So they equal at second base, more or less. Pivots up, but on statistics in terms of offense, I would put Larry Doby. Now that might be silly because again, Larry Doby may not be as quick as Easterling, but I'll sort that in a minute. Third base. So we've got Buckler, Ted Strong, right field. We're going to have him instead of Bragana. So who was Ted Strong? An imposing hitter in both size and performance. Look at the size, huge. Well-rounded player that also played basketball, otherwise known as TR. So first look at, for me, I've read about Ted Strong. Let's have a look at Ted Strong on the internet. Ted Strong, I will use a very quick. Started in 1937. A host of statistics for him. There he is. Tall Ted Strong. Seamhead's profile, updating 2021. So there's his Seamhead stuff. Doesn't have a bio, what some of them do, some of the Negro leaguers do. So that will only just continue to increase as time goes on. He's definitely going to be my right fielder. As I said, I'm doing this on runs created more than anything else. Does look a home run hit, they all do. Buck Leonard. So left field, let's have a look at left field. We've got Bill Hoskins. I'm sure Bill Hoskins hit a home run for the other night, as did Reese Hoskins the other day in my Philadelphia Phillies modern day baseball game. But have a look at Bill Hoskins. Big Bill led the league in hitting with 412. Wow. Again, superb player. I think he should be in there. So Bill Hoskins is going to come in at left field. Like I said, I will change around the initial lineup. Third baseman, according to offense, or offense, not defense. Easterling. Now Easterling we know is a leadoff hitter, so Easterling can go in place of Blanco. Now I won't just toss away people like I just used, like Blanco. Let's have a look at him. Blanco. Where is Blanco? Blanco. There's Leon Day. There you are, Carlos Blanco. Carlos Blanco was a Cuban pitcher that played first and third in both the US and Mexico. He's rated 6.1. At third base, he's a 9. So again, this stuff I can see a player that I do like already that's not been picked yet. Henry Kimbrough. I do like him. I've used him already in the week. is an 8, 7.1, outfield arm 6. Don't know what it is, just seem to just like him. Maybe it's his photo. And the photos are just something to behold by Steve. Put a lot of hard work into, if you look at one of them, I'll just bring up Roy Campanella. The one I have for Roy Campanella, he's got a mask on his head that makes him look like he's had a really bad haircut. Whereas this one you can see quite clearly Campy with the name in black underneath, and I believe that's the Negro League logo beside it, which is amazing to see. And I think Steve has pixelated it or enhanced it to make it look a certain way, and I think he's also colorized some of the color if there's black and white, so he's done a brilliant job. I think that adds to the class element of Negro League as players, a mythical aspect of it. Steve has brought that to life. Like I said, I'm doing my own field of dreams here. So I will put Henry Kimbrough, I don't know who he is, played outfield and led off. That's why I liked him. Had patience and played speed on the base path. I really liked him when I had him the other day. So he's coming in. Again, a player, for when this thing does come out, it's going to be incredible when they do it. There's Kimbrough. We know already he's a leadoff hitter, so up you go, son. So that's the lineup so far. Am I on left field? Now then, Bill Hoskins is there, is he? Yes. Who am I missing? Oh, the pitcher. So at the moment, this looks pretty strong side. I don't think I've missed anyone. Campy can't. Nobody there in the lineup that shouldn't be there. So what I might do is actually save it. As against a righty, I'll do it anyway. And what I will do is create a pitcher. So of the pitchers, who would you pick? Again, there's some that stand out because I've used them before. Just from looking at the players, I recognise Bill Big Daddy Bird. He played, I used him the other day. He was superb, absolutely superb. And I definitely would recommend Bill Big Daddy Bird, or Daddy as it says here. I had great fun with that the other day. Just looks fantastic. Then we've got Leon Day. Now this is a name I am very familiar with in Negro Leagues. An MLB star hurler and an exceptional fielding and pitching abilities. Now they're going up against Satchel Paige here, so we need the best pitcher. But Leon Day, is he a Hall of Famer? I will just check that. Leon Day, here we go. Obviously, yes, he is a member of the Hall of Fame. So he will be pitching today. A right-hand pitcher with a trademark no wind-up delivery. Excelled at striking batters out, especially with his high-speed fastball. At the same time, he was an above-average. He's like a double-duty Radcliffe. Who, by the way, oh good lord, who by the way, when I played with him the other day, double-duty that is, he came into pitch, and I thought that he was coming into pitch. I thought his brother was coming into pitch at first, because he was behind the plate, but it was actually him. No, that's it. He's a catcher. I thought it was his brother coming in to pitch. It was the same person, double duty, and he does have a brother. I think he's created. So this team's looking particularly good. He can bat, but he's also going to be pitching. So there's Leon Day, a Hall of Famer. So Danny is going to stay on the bench. Now here's a guy. So on seam heads, if you go into seam heads and click all the Negro Leagues, including Mexican, they have him listed as their all-time left fielder. But he was a pitcher as well. But when I look at the stats, it doesn't look like he's that good. Innings pitched 259, hits 273. This suggests to me that he's hittable. Batting, nothing special. So I'm not sure why they had him as the all-time left fielder on seam heads, on one of those things where you press the filters, and it had him as all-time left. But I don't know if that's a mistake I made, but it did come up. Anyway, that is the story behind Theolic Smith. If I go into him, briefly. Nothing spectacular, but I'm glad I found out who he was. Anyway, that's the whole point. You know, learning about these players, developing a knowledge, and for me, that is crucial. So, without further ado, I crack on. So that's the team done there. The opponent, well, there's some great players here. Satchel is there. If I take Ray Brown, there's a few Browns. There's a Dave Brown and a Ray Brown. Let's try Ray Brown first. There's one that has an intriguing story. Ray Brown, best pitcher in league at the time. I've heard that many times. A very good pinch hitter with a solid bat. He's in the Hall of Fame as well, Ray Brown. So there's another one of the Hall of Famers. So there is, it's good to see. Let me get out of Ray Brown. He could pitch today. Satchel. This is not one of Steve's photos. I think the game has picked up one of mine because I had the league release before I got Steve's beta file. But we're going to play with Satch to see how good he really was. So Satchel's in the lineup. Let's go with hitters. Then I'll put Josh Gibson. Allowing me to make it. Thank you very much. And let's just choose the lineup. That looks a good one already, but we can already see. Now, it seems like I haven't made it inactive. That's my fault. Manager preferences. Can I do it from here? Computer preferences. So I think I have to do it for the league. Unfortunately, I've already started. That's fine. There's a lot of great players I could put. Vic Harris at left field. But in fact, I'll leave this because it actually still looks a good team. The one player that I would like to have seen, clearly, is Vic Harris. And possibly Goose Curry. So the right field is a guy, Ed Stone, who I've used before. And I think Ed Stone is pretty good. There's a guy called Dangerous. Is that Ray Dangerous? There's Ted Double Duty Radcliffe, who came on in relief the other day. So it seems like I haven't got rid of the inactivity button. So I need to just go back and have a look at that. But not now. Vic Harris will start in left field over Sam Bankhead. And I'm sure his name is Sam Bankhead. So it's letting me change it. So, yeah, I've not put them in any particular order, but DeHidra and Gibson clearly are the big hitters. So if I was to go on speed, it doesn't do that, does it? Stolen bases might. Ray Dangerous is a Hall of Famer. Fine fielder, contact hitter, not playing today. But instead, Double Duty looks like he's... Oh, hold on. Nope, Dangerous not there. There's a couple of stars here that we could have used. So, for example, Ray Dangerous and Willard Brown, who I think is someone I've enjoyed learning about. Known to play hard in front of larger crowds. Great stuff. Just really great. And of the pitchers on the bench, Ray Brown, Hall of Famer, Hilton Smith is another one I'm very aware of, who a great all-round pitcher with a curveball. Go to Smith on the web. Was he a Hall of Famer? Not that I can see. But well known. Definitely for me anyway, I knew of Hilton Smith. I don't know his backstory yet, but I will do. He's got a control pitcher. And again, another pitcher of note, Red Ryan, who Beatles eternally used yesterday. And then there's Slim Jones, one of the Triple Crown winners. I don't know if Steve's got any notes. Yes, he does. Dominant curve and father, and Slim Jones had a tragic ending, sadly. There's Leroy Matlock, lefty pitchers. This pitching staff is amazing. So let's get down to it. I've spoken enough on these players, and let's get down to the ball game. Should be a fairly even matchup. risky with neutral settings. And Satchel Paige takes the mound for 1930-39, making his first start. It's Leon Day, who will be on the mound for the red team, the 40-49s. He's also making his first start. So here we go. Play ball.
Play ball!
So Jerry Benjamin steps in. 301, 12 home runs, 9 1 RBIs. As he comes into the plate, he dusts it down with his bat. But no park effects on. It's clear, it's calm night here in Chicago. Leon Day, Hall of Famer, on the mound for his first appearance in my universe. .63 degrees here. Benjamin faces there. 3-1 count. Low and outside, and he walks him. So Jerry Benjamin trots down to first base. Leon Day opens up his account with a walk. Here's Judd Wilson, Big Judd, and I've used Judd before. Judd is a .354 hitter, 14 home runs, 114 RBIs. Troop sets. Day with the first pitch. Benjamin is running, and Troop fires out to second, and he's safe. So Benjamin gets to second base with a stolen base, his first stolen base of the day. Just looking at that defense here, Quincy Troop, wow. Buck Leonard, wow. Larry Doby, Monty Irvin, Howard Easterling, Bill Hoskins left, Henry Kimbrough, very agile center fielder, and Ted Strong, big man out in right field. So here's Judd Wilson, another big man. 3-1 the count. Ball outside. Ball 4. Wilson draws the walk. So 2 men on here. Leon Day starting off the day with 2 walks. They've stolen him already. So not a good start for Day. Here we go. Here's Josh Gibson, the man you don't want to have with 2 men on base. Is big old Josh making his first appearance in my universe. Dihigio is up next. 1-2 to count. Crushed towards left center field. Base hit for Gibson. Benjamin is running around third as Hoskins messes with it in left field. Wilson comes home behind him, and that's 2-0 for the 1930-39s. Josh Gibson drives in too. So Leon Day off to a rough start. Here's Dihigio. 2-2 count, and a deep fly ball to left field. Kimbrough's going back against the fence, and he makes the catch. That's why I like Kimbrough, even though I know he's an 8, not a 10. I just like him. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his smile, something about him. You can almost see him sprinting across the grass. Great stuff. Day looks in. Stone comes to the plate. 1-2 to count. Pitch to Stone. Fastball. Stone cuts it. Very deep fly ball to right center field. Ted Strong going back. It is gone. So Ed Stone, who debuted in my universe a couple of days ago, has just hit a home run. Wow, so 2 runs in there straight away. And we're looking not so good for Leon Day. Wow, not a good start. So that brings up Vic Harris, 321 hitter, 12 home runs, 94 RBIs. Nobody on. Troop sets, sign down, 2-1 count, deep fly towards center field. Harris is taking it back. Kimbrough's going right back, but he makes the catch on the track for the out. That's only 2 out. They trail 4-0 already. Here's Alex Double Duty Ratcliffe. 309 home runs, 83 RBIs. Let's have a look at see, this is why I get them mixed up. This is Alex Ratcliffe, Ted's brother. So this is why I'm getting used to the players a bit more. I thought it was Ted. It's not. It's Alex. As Steve has put here, the brother of Ted Double Duty Ratcliffe. So here we go. Day looks in. Ratcliffe steps in. Nobody on. 0-2 to count. Day kicks and delivers. Ratcliffe swings. Ground ball through shortstop out to left field. So it went between third and short. So my team that I put in the field, not doing too good. Do we take him out now? He's only pitched 37 pitches. It is an exhibition, so I'll leave him in. Here's Dixie. Let's say Dixie is all about. Superb defensive. Part of the $1 million infield, so I need to know who that is. So go to day here. Quick look should tell us. So it was Dangerous, Mule Suttles, and Willie Wells. Wells would have played short, otherwise known as the Devil. Rain Dangerous would have played third. This Dick Say would have been second. And I know Mule Suttles was the first baseman, so that's the infield. Suttles, Dangerous, Say. So I know the other three pretty well, so Dick Say is now on my radar. Thank you, Steve. Say steps in, hits a line into center field, base hit again. They're killing him here. So another base hit there. Say, in fact, it wasn't a base hit. It went straight to Kimbrough. My eyes deceived me. So that brings on the great Satchel Paige on the mound. So behind the plate is Josh Gibson. First base is Judd Wilson. Second base is one of the members of the $1 million infield, Dick Say. Now I know, he's an 8, he's a 9. At shortstop is the great Martin DeHijo, a 6. Well, I'm sure DeHijo played outfield as well. At third base is Ted's brother. So double duties, brother Alex Radcliffe is in third. And left field is Vic Harris. I've used Vic before. At center field is the leadoff hitter, Jerry Benjamin. In right field, making his second appearance in my universe, is Ed Stone. So I'm getting used to the players more and more because using them more and more. So I've learned a little bit more about Dick Say today. So here we go. Page on the mound. Needs to change his picture. Henry Kimbrough, another player that I've gotten used to already. Center fielder. 3-1 from Page, fastball. Almost in the dirt, so Page off target with that pitch. And Kimbrough will go to first. Here's Larry Doby, the great Larry Doby. Often overlooked. Page gets time to give 1-2 count. And a curveball strikes him out. So Seth gets his action going. Here's Quincy Troop, 315, 14 home runs. If you look at the way I put this team lineup up, with a bit more time, I would have set them up a little differently. I definitely would have had Leonard, Irvin, and Doby back to back to back. Here's Troop, running on first. Page sets a sign, 0-2 from Satchel. Through strike 3. Second strikeout from Satchel Paige. Is that actually Satchel Paige? Probably from the 1920s photo. I need Steve's photo. So here we go. Parker Leonard steps up. He's a dangerous hitter. 328, 27 home runs, 123 RBIs. Bottom of the first inning here. High and outside, and Leonard will walk to first. That brings up Monty Irvin, 333 hitter, 25 home runs, 109 RBIs. Irvin in the batter's box. Page is set, 1-2 to count. And a curveball across the knees, and Irvin is struck out. So we now go to the top of the second inning, and Satchel Paige is at the plate. Fastball coming in from Day. Ground ball between third and short. So they're touching up Day today. Paige has got the fourth base hit. You feel that they've had more. Is that scoreboard working? Seriously, it does feel like they've had about 6 or 7. Anyway, here's Jerry Benjamin, 312 hitter. He walked the first time up. And here's Day. Now Day is looking at Troop. Troop has come out to talk to him for a moment. Oh, great start for Leon Day. Benjamin waits. Wilson's on deck. He shakes off Troop. And there's a fastball. Page is going for second. And Satchel Paige has got a stolen base. So they shook off Troop, and Page saw the confusion and took off. So Satchel Paige here has got a first steal of the day for him. Day gets a sign, Day to Benjamin, fastball, Benjamin will bunt. In front of the plate, Doby's across, and he covers, but Satchel Paige moved to third base. So the great Satchel Paige putting on a show in the field. Not what we expected at all. Hey Al, my mentor, one of my mentors, Al, Red Sox fan. Hello Al, you've inspired me for years, and I just want to say, you never heard my voice out loud. You've seen me on Facebook, I think. I think you know how I am on Facebook. But I must say, through the pandemic, and you know I've said this on your channel before, how wonderful your broadcasts were. You have inspired a generation of people. We're all gamers. I think I was the only man on the planet that commentated in my head. But you, Al, inspired me, along with King Ichibu, and more recently, Beatles Eternally. I still drop in on your channels, you know. Thank you for supporting today. I really, as they say, was it inch wide, mile deep into this stuff. But thank you for dropping along today. I don't have your commentating skills, but I'm doing it in my British accent. You know I'm a boxing fan, so I will join you on there one day, hopefully, because I really like what you do and have inspired so many people. You're held in great reverence, Al. So here we go. Here's Judd Wilson, the big hulking Judd Wilson, 354 hitter, 14 home runs, 14 RBIs. He walked the first time up. Wilson drew a baseball and balls. 1 and 2 from Day. Way to the missed. 2 away. So here we come. The great Josh Gibson comes to the plate. The right-hand hitting power man who drove in 2 runs in the first inning. See, I'll be tempted now to go into my American accent because I can hear you in my head. I just can't do your accent. So here we go. Josh Gibson to the plate. Day looks in. Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. Gibson drove in 2. The shift is on for Gibson. And he struck out and missed. So Day now recovering some of his composure. At the end of the inning, an inning and a half, the 1930-39 4, the 1940s to 49-0. Or the Greens versus the Reds. The Greens 4, the Reds 0. Here's Howard Easterling, who was initially at the shortstop, is now a third baseman. 304, 10 home runs, 91 RBIs. But Howard is, what did he do in the first inning? It doesn't say. Howard Easterling at the plate, I'll just leave it at that. He's a bunter. No reason for him to bunt. The bases are empty. Strong is on deck. 1 and 2 to count. Paints the outside corner and he's got him. Struck him out. So Satchel on his way today. I'm going to have this new burst of energy as my great mentor and friend. Al Red Sox fan is online and I'm so honored to have him here today. I've been schooled by they've taken me down an alley, Al, and Beatles and Steve, and they beat me up in that alley along with Ken Castro and RGL Network, or RGL's in a league of his own, to be honest. But these guys have really inspired me along with your great self in every sport. I'm a soccer fan, as you know, a cricket fan, as you know, but I'm a big boxing fan. I love your stuff. And baseball, I've always been a baseball fan, and I watched you play action years ago, and I absolutely love it. But I never liked the game until now. Suddenly I've got into action. I'm an out of the park guy. Anyway, speaking of which, Ted Strong looks up to the stands, the commentary people say, hey, are we having a ball game here or not? The big, tall Ted Strong, left-hand hitter, 315, 24 home runs, a powerful man at the plate. Page just clowning around with the crowd, and he looks like he's telling his fielders to relax. Strong sets in 1 and 2 to kill. Swing and a miss. Got him, and Page gets the case. 5 strikeouts here for Satchel. Satchel so far has pitched only an inning. Wow. And an inning and a bit, and he's already got 5 strikeouts. Here's Bill Hoskins, a left fielder. 1-1 the pitch to Big Bill. Ground ball. Satchel just languidly moves to the right. Turns it around and gets it across to Judd Wilson. 1 away. And that's the end of the inning. Sorry, end of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors after 2 innings. I wish to goodness gracious me that I could do, Al, I wish I could do a Harry Carey. I really do. I grew up on Harry Carey at WGN, and even though I was in Jamaica at the time, and I'm a Brit living in Jamaica as a kid, and I listened to Harry Carey and Ralph Kiner, and I love them as commentators. There are others. The gentleman for the Dodgers, his name just escapes me for the moment. Amazing, amazing. These guys were. Vince Scully, what a player. Red Barber I've listened to in old broadcasts, just great. Here's Martin Dihigo, Dihigo, one of the greats. I think he might be in MLB The Show. So Day, another Hall of Famer whose name I'd heard of, but due to this wonderful project by Steve Tate and the notes he makes, if I quickly show you all, if those who will listen later on, an MLB star hurler, exceptional fielding and pitching, and so far though not proven. 4 hits and 4 runs, but here we go. Martin Dihigo chased the pitch at the strike zone, and Day gets a strikeout. His third. Let's move it along. Here's Ed Stone, hit a home run in the last time up, 1-2 to count. Deep fly ball to center field. Kimbrough is going back, but he has it. And this is why I put Kimbrough at center field. That's out, so 2 out here in the third. And we have Vic Harris, another superstar from the Negro Leagues. I love Ralph Kiner, Al. He was just, get home from school, I'd get into the sofa, my dad wasn't home for a few hours, I'd sit and dominate the TV. My sisters weren't allowed to watch it because it was under my control and command. And I would turn it onto WOR and WGN, and I saw Dwight Gooden on the Out of the Park boards. That's who I am, Dr. K. I watched him and Aguilera and Sid Fernandez, and let's see now, Bob Ojeda, Ron Darling, Doug Sisk, although Dougie wasn't too good. I love Doug Sisk. He used to trot out and he'd go, oh no, time to switch over. Switch over to the Cubs, the Cubbies. I think you're a Red Sox fan, am I right, Al? So 1986 may not resonate with you the way it does with me, but I have to say that 86 Red Sox team, the way they came back from the Angels, amazing. And if you watch a Beatles Eternally's he did an 86 Mets and he did an 86 Tigers play. He's in the middle of doing it. There is a rare play in there with Mookie Wilson that's freakishly similar to what happened to dear old Billy Buckner. And by the way, why, as a Brit, looking back, I remember the time as well, because I was into baseball at the time. Why did they blame Bill Buckner for it? Shouldn't you be blaming the guy for the bullpen? Not the Italian gentleman, what's his name? Who was a Met. I forgot what his name is. He was a Met who was traded that season. Calvin Schiraldi. It wasn't him. He didn't perform in that series. It was a guy, it was Bob Stanley, the big tall guy, that messed about, and I think it was Gedman with the wild pitch and all that stuff. There were so many opportunities. And I never understand why they blame Bill Buckner. It was a tie when he gave that run up. But anyway, I'm sure it's bad for Boston Red Sox fans. I won't joke about it, because obviously it's quite a big thing. Schiraldi, that's right, Al. Calvin Schiraldi. Here's Vic Harris. Oh, wonder strike. Harris lines a single to center field. They are really touching up day to day. So Harris on foot, but this is a side with a team with Josh Gibson, Dihigo, Vic Harris, and here comes Alex Radcliffe, Double Duty's brother. Day is ready. Harris is unable to get a good jump at first. Day's got his eye on him, and so does Buck Leonard, and so does Quincy Troop. Can they catch him in their web? Oh, one and two to count. Swing and a miss. Radcliffe is out of there. So a bit of teamwork there. 4th strikeout. So no runs, no one hit, no errors. After 2.5, it's going along quite slowly, so I'm chuntering away here. At the plate, leading off the bottom of the third, is Leon Day. Day, a 298 hitter for a pitcher that's awesome, and he hits a ball down to the third base line. He's going to get a double because Harris was messing around with it down there, as was Radcliffe. And Radcliffe's only rated a 5 by Steve at third. So Leon Day leads off with a double. That brings up my man, Henry Kimbrough, the swift center fielder. Kimbrough looks in, drew a base ball, 3-0 to count, and that's why I picked Kimbrough for center field. He's a guy that can work the count when he's in. I think so, Rich Gedman, but I read a book, Al, with oh man, it's all about that whole postseason. I don't think there's been a postseason that I can remember in my memory like it with the Astros and the Mets and the Red Sox and the Angels. Poor Donnie Moore, poor Donnie Moore. And he was an ace at the time, or a really good relief pitcher. But again, I don't think Donnie Moore should be blamed for that defeat. I think Gene Mock has a lot to say about that. But you would know more than I would. If it's soccer, that's my wheelhouse. Or cricket. Baseball, I have a good knowledge, but not like you guys who have grown up with it. So here we go. Larry Doby at the plate. The great Larry Doby, I'd say. 314 hitter, 22 home runs, 102 RBIs. A man whose achievements and experiences have been overlooked, I feel. And that's just me. I think he's getting a little bit more recognition lately. Jackie gets so much, but he was the first, if I remember, modern day black player to play in the American League. Run on first and second, 3-2 from Page. Curveball, Doby swings and he struck him out. Satchel Paige, 6 strikeouts. Putting on the magic today. Here comes Quincy Troop. First and second, men on. Troop hits a shallow fly ball to right center field. That will be Ed Stone coming in nicely for it. And Ed Stone's become one of my favorites already. Why would he be my favorite? I never watched him play. There's no highlights of him. But it's just the way it comes across on the screen. It's the immersion, I think. It's very sad about more. It's the immersion, I think, of watching Steve put this together. When you play a game, you see it in your head. Now, why would I like Ed Stone? He's not physically represented it other than a photo. But what he's done, what Steve has done, in my opinion, is put together the class of the individual. It comes through. I mean, maybe this is how my head works, or maybe I've had too many rum and cokes over the years. But there's something in the pictures that comes through. I have no idea about Ed Stone or why he would be someone I like, but I haven't even read his biography, which takes me to him right now. Ed Stone, right fielder, left-hand hitter, 3-time All-Star, who twice led the league in triples. He's got some speed. And maybe that's what I can feel when I see him running to the ball. Was known for solid fielding and a heavy bat. Ed Stone on the web, very quickly, if I can find him a wiki. I don't like wiki, that's not factual, but it just allows me to look at it very quickly. Final league season 1946, he was an athlete. And that's what I can sense when I'm playing it, I guess. The athleticism of him. He does, Al. He's just amazing what he does. He's almost become the answer to what you are as a commentator and an all-round. You are a Hall of Famer. That's what it is, Al. You are a Hall of Famer. I'm not gassing you up, as we say in the UK, but I truly, sincerely mean it. I don't think you realize, particularly during the pandemic, the isolation of everybody. You would have known that because you've gone through it yourself. But you brought such joy. I read on I think it was a Steam, someone was talking about you, and they would just say, "There's this guy that's so excitable on the internet," and I knew they were talking about you. They were saying he does this project. He brings he's got his dogs there, and I was laughing. I think they're talking about our Red Sox fan. Like I said, you weren't the first I saw, but you were the first I settled on. King Ikibu was the one before you that I settled on. And then I saw Paulie. I've heard you on the podcasts. What Dave and Uncle Ron do. I don't know Uncle Ron very well, but I know his channel. I definitely recommend anybody to tune into that. I think everybody in the universe must know who you are, big Al Red Sox fan. But that, I heard you on it the other day. I think you were talking about playing with all teams, I think. I've heard you on it a few times. But what Dave and Big Ron do with that podcast is awesome. I think what you do on a Saturday afternoon or evening, in my time I think it's really late at night or very late, and you do boxing exceptionally well. Wrestling's not for me, but I do listen in on you, and I think you're just touching the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. That's just me, Al, and I'm being generous, but I think it's well deserved. You probably just don't realise, as they say, you never sit in the sun's shade. You never sit in the let's say that right, that came out wrong. You never sit in the shade with people's lives who you touch. And that's all I'll say about that, as far as used to say. Irwin is on deck, he can get on. 3-2 to pitch, and the runners are off. High fastball, and Page has walked, so the bases are loaded, but there are 2 out here. Here's Monty Irvin playing shortstop, not his usual left field he played for the Giants. Saxophone, 2-2 from Page. Outside on the black, struck him out. Clutch play from Satchel. It's like he was toying with him. So back up to Leon Day now. Day has pitched 3 innings, given up 5 hits, beginning to settle down 4 Ks, but this is a powerful lineup. Here's Dixie, part of the $1 million infield. 0-2 to count. Day kicks and deals, and Say swings, ground ball up the middle. Dobie comes across, fills it nicely, puts it across to Buckland at first, 1 away. Here's Satchel, 1 for 1. He's also had a stolen base today, along with his many strikeouts on the day. 0-2 to Satchel, breaking ball. Page swings, base hit up the middle. Satchel Page put on a show, and I wasn't even going to use Satchel Page today, because I just thought, well, everyone knows who Satchel Page is. But he's putting on a performance with the bat and the ball. Here's Jerry Benjamin. They're going to watch Satchel on first because he stole before. Looking at the percentages, 32%. I do like this box down here. High chance of a strikeout here. Day, sign from Troop, 1-1. Ground in between first and second, but it's going... No, it's going to Ted Strong. Strong over to get Page, and Page going for the third base is out. So the crowd groan as Satchel is thrown out by the strong-armed, or relatively strong-armed, Ted Strong in right field. A big Ted Strong. Look at the picture there. An imposing figure. Wow. Here's Judd Wilson. Talk about imposing figures. Look at Judd's old face. Not one to be messed with. That's what I'd say. Here is Judd Wilson at the plate. 354 hitter. Got a good bunting rating. Walked and struck out. It's a Day now. Just picking up the pace a bit. Still trails. 4-0. Run on second. Wilson hits the ground between third and short. Irvin in the hole. Throws it across. And he's safe. So Judd Wilson with the wheels to get down to first base. Runners at the corners now. But there are 2 out to see if Leon Day can use his skill to get out of this. And he's definitely settled down since the first inning. But here is the great Josh Gibson. This would be a time for great walk-up music. So he doubled and he has struck out. So here's Josh Wilson. Josh Gibson, 1-0 count. Gibson got a hold of this one. Well hit, fly ball to left field. Back. Gone! Josh Gibson takes him out of here for a 3-run home run. Wow. So we've seen Satchel do some stealing and some striking outs. And now we've just seen Josh Gibson hit a home run out of Comiskey Park into the night, and all Hoskins could do is wave at the ball, and it sailed into the night, and I could almost hear him saying, "Good night, sweet prince." Here we go. Here's Martin DeHigio. So Leon Day now 7-0. Seriously, the manager should be taking him out, but we haven't got manager settings on. So what I'm going to do, because it is my team, is go to the bullpen. Let's see what we got. We got Big Daddy Bird, but its game is gone. So there's no point using. We got Mac Henry, who I do like. I don't think it's going to make any difference at this stage. Jefferson, Willie Jefferson, several years and won right, okay, for the Cleveland Buckeyes. He can do relief. We could bring him in. Or Ramon Bragana. Just great judgment on the mound, had speed, curves, and great control. Let's bring in Bragana, shall we? So Leon Day, that's his day over, excuse the pun. How do we do the bullpen? So go to bullpen. And we're bringing in, oh, here they are. Ramon Bragana. Ramon, don't run away. Where do we put you? Day is still strong, says he wants to finish the game. But I want to put Bragana in. How do I do that? Right mouse click, surely. Yes. Bye-bye, Leon. Hit the road, Jack. I can't sing the lyrics. Where's he go? Hit the road, Jack. Don't want to see no more. That's right, Al. Boom to the moon, Ellen. Boom goes the ball. Gibson touches the ball. Getting lessons here from the great Al Red Sox fan. Here we go. Beatles would be pissing himself laughing because I think he's amazing with his broadcasting. So here we go. So thank you, Al. So Josh Gibson here. So here's Pagana. Does a few warm-up pitches. Quincy Troop in his crouching down behind the plate. One of the great catchers of all time in the Negro Leagues. So here we go. DiHigio has been waiting for his moment. DiHigio steps in, struck out last time. 1-0 from Pagana. It's a fly ball towards center field. Kimbrough measured it nicely. And a can of corn, as they say. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors after 3.5. The 1930-39 7, the 1940s 49 0. So here's Howie Easterling to lead off the next inning, which is the bottom of the 4th, I think. Easterling lead off the half inning. 0-2, and Satchel strikes him out. Here's Ted Strong, the big strong right fielder, the left-hand hitter Strong, 24 home runs. Page looks in, 1-2 to count, deep down the right field line. This has a chance. Stone going back. Gone! Al, you can do the chant for that one. Strong has taken it yard. My neighbors will think, what the hell is happening to Mark today? And that is my name, Mark. You all right, Al? No more hitting the road, Jack. There's another one you can bust out the tune again. So Ted Strong takes a Satchel deep into the night. And Stone just looked up and watched the ball disappear into Chicago's night lights, into the Chicago night. So we've seen another home run here. Here's Bill Hoskins, 1 out. Satchel just shakes his head. Yeah, well, he got one there, didn't he? Satchel's Page got 8 strikeouts. Page for the 0-1, breaking ball, and another deep fly ball going down the right field line again. Going back, but this time Stone has it. The athletic Ed Stone, as we both know, is in right field. I'm not sure who else is on the chat today, but it's good. Our Red Sox are making me laugh. Yeah, we've seen a few. Here's Roman Bragana at the plate. He's the relief pitcher. Is the computer going to bat for him? Nope. 1-2 to count, and below the belt, and Satchel strikes him out and sends him away. To the end of the inning, 1 run, 1 massive hit, no errors, after 4 complete, the 1930-39 7, the 1940s 49 1. Here's Ed Stone. We know he's athletic, left-hand hitter. Bragana looks in. Stone steps in, wind up. Here comes the express high fly ball to right center field. Stone, he didn't get all of it, just got a piece of it. And Ted Strong, who hit a home run last inning, comes to get it. Big Ted Strong in right field. He does look a beast, doesn't he? Let's have a look at him. Ted Strong, where is he? Right field Ted Strong. So otherwise known as TR. So from now on, I shall be calling him TR. A well-rounded player that also plays basketball. He is 6'3", so what? In those days, that's actually quite high, tall, but nowadays that would just be a guard, I'd imagine. Here we go. So here we go. Vic Harris, another big hitter. Vic Harris fly to deep center line to single to left center field. He's 1 for 2. Bragana with the pitch. Harris swings between first and second. Doby ranges across, throws across, and there's an error. So who made the error? Bad throw from Larry Doby. That's second, a young version of Larry Doby. And Larry Doby, according to Steve, well, we know about Larry Doby anyway, but he's 21 here, so we'll give him a break. So there is 1 out, 2 men on, or 1 man on. Harris goes to second. And here comes Alex Radcliffe, the brother of Ted Double Duty. 1-2 to count. Ground ball hit to the left side. Monty and Easterling conversion. Easterling has it, throws across the diamond, across to Buck Leonard for the first out. We haven't heard much of Buck Leonard today. Buck Leonard, another Hall of Famer. So Bragana's doing his job. Here is Dick Say the pitcher. Page is on deck. 2-2 to count. Outside corner, got him. So I said Dick Say the pitcher. It's actually Dick Say the second baseman, part of the $1 million infield. Let's see if I can remember it now as I'm studying this. Willie Wells was 1. Third baseman would have been Ray Dandridge. Oh, 1 more. 1 more, Marquis. 1 more. Who is the guy? The first baseman, I've got it. Mule Suttles. There you go. Is it Mule Suttles? Yeah, I think it's Mule Suttles. I think I've got them now. So, yeah. Here we go. So Page has settled down after that last one. Here's Henry Kimbrough. 3-2 to count. Way outside, so maybe Page hasn't settled down. And Kimbrough goes down to first. Now, Kimbrough is a threat to steal. Says 26%. Not sure about that. I've got a feeling he's going to be going. Here's Larry Doby, 0 for 2. And Gibson goes out to Page, so they are cooking up something here. And the crowd is booing. Troop is on deck. Runner on first. Page toes the rubber. 2-2 to count. In there at the knees. And Larry Doby's got 10 strikeouts to Satchel. He's pitched only 4.5 innings. Not even 4.5. Here comes Quincy Troop. 1-2 to count. Troop cuts and he swings through it and misses. 2 strikes here now for Satchel Paige. 1 man on. Kimbrough up to 52%. Here's the great Buck Leonard. Buck today walked. So Satchel has walked him twice. Run on first. Page is set. 1-2 to count. Rips and misses. Buck Leonard with some curses as he goes back to the bullpen. So after 5 innings, 1930s are 7 and 1940s are 1. So the blue team are the 1930s. So we've still got Bragana in there pitching. And here comes Satchel Paige. Paige cuts it. He's 2 for 2 today. Pops it into the stands. Eastling over, but it's foul. So here's Satchel Paige. 2 for 2 today. And he's got a steal as well. Bragana toes the rubber. Troop sets signs. 2-2 to count. Grounded to Leonard at first. Then it gathers it up and we'll take it to the first base. Page is out of there. So we continue with Jerry Benjamin coming from the left-hand side. He's walked, bunted, and grounded so far today. Bragana looks in. 2-1 to count. Benjamin swings. Hard ground between third and short. Easterling over there. Nice play by Howard Easterling at third base. So if you're doing a draft, if you get to use these files, which I think we will, Steve is working diligently at that 500 target that myself and Big Clue set him some time ago. We've constantly moved the goalposts. I'm looking for 1,000 to be honest. But I think 500 is a good round number for 20 teams of 25 people, if my maths is correct. I think typically the Negro leagues, they had about 15 on the roster, mainly because the pitchers could bat. But here's Judd Wilson, a big hulking player, 1 for 2 today, batting from the left-hand side. On 1 to count, hits a grounder back up to the mound. Bragana has it over to Leonard, and that's our error. Error there. Diving stop by Leonard. He had to leave the bag. And that was a bad throw, so Judd is on. Here's Josh Gibson now. 2-2 to Gibson. Ground ball up the middle, past Bragana. Nice stop there. Nice, lovely play there. Larry Doby converged on it, but it was Monty Irvin with the put out to first. So here's Monty Irvin over 2 today. As we go into the 6th inning, or bottom of the 5th inning, he struck out twice. Page has him on a swing and a miss. The breaking ball getting Monty Irvin. The crowd are not happy at all, and giving Monty Irvin plenty as he goes back to the bullpen. Go back to time in the UK. Al is 6:06. So I'm hoping to finish this in the next, say, 20 minutes maybe. And then I get online and just watch everyone else for the rest of the evening, have some dinner, get some exercise, and then watch everyone else watching your football game. So I'll always catch everybody later on when you're doing your stuff, or, I always just like watching it really. It's been amazing to do. And winter is coming to an end, so I'll probably be going out a little bit more. But at the same time, it's been wonderful doing this project with Steve and Beatles with the Ned McGreevy League. I think there's a Ned McGreevy 2 in the works one day, I'm certain of that. And, I watch your projects and watch pretty much every RGL's doing his 1988 stuff. I'd love to learn about ice hockey, because Dave does some great stuff with ice hockey. You're doing everything, as always. I just love what you do. It's more your energy, Al, and the way you treat. I think kindness goes a long way in this thing. I always remember the reason why I joined your channel and Beatles first. Yours definitely. It's the way you just greeted me and my friend from the UK, and mouse in the house. And if you want to know where that comes from, when I did my first 10 years living in England, and I went to Jamaica to live. I went to school out there for 8 years, and I remember, I must have been about 10 or 11, somebody was a bit timid in the first year of high school, and we were both bantering between each other, and I called him a mouse, being not particularly kind at the time, and he said the same thing back to me. But as he said it to me, everybody walked into the classroom at that moment, and that was my nickname, and still is to this day, Mouse. So then, being from Jamaica with a lot of dreadlocks, some people would mess around with it, call me Mousy Dread. I'm not got any dreadlocks, but that's what they would call me, and it stuck. It sticks, and I'm in my 50s now. If I see anyone I went to high school with, that's exactly how they'll call me. But when I went onto the line, it became MV because it used to be Mousy Dread Videos. But you're the one that remembers me as the mousy bit. So you'll always say, it's Mouse, but you've abbreviated it even further, which I love, by saying, it's Mouse in the house. And I actually love that. So you're the only one who greets me that way, and please do keep that up. I love that. Mouse in the house and greetings from abroad. And I think it's important that in an industry of gaming where, I used to think I was a nerd, and I would never call anyone else a nerd, but in a game where everybody's living out their fantasies, is that the right word? Or experience a certain amount of a similitude, I think it's called. And sharing their passions online, whether they're good broadcasters or not. I think it's important that you greet people and deliver that respect, and you do that all the time, Al, from what I see. And there's many others as well that do the same thing. Dave as well has been for welcome. Beatles, obviously, I'm a big fan because he's lived abroad in Europe as well. He gets my humour, which is a bit sick. Big Clue's probably worse. But there's so many friendly people in the community. And me as a modder, I'm a modder for cricket, always have been for many, many years. And for Pro Evolution, in the old days of Pro Evolution Soccer, I used to go by the name of Electric Trigger. And I don't know why I like creating players, but I just do. Not like Steve, but I used to be bad. I'd come home and just start creating players for cricket. I could never do it for baseball. But yeah, thanks, Al. Anyway, I continue. So that's it, Mouse in the house to you, and that's it. But yeah, so here we go. Here's Easterling, 0 for 2. And Page looks in. 2 on 2 from Page, struck him out. He ripped Easterling out of there. Easterling, 3 Ks for the day. 5 straight strikeouts of Page. But he was touched up today by Ted Strong, who is now at the place. Can Ted Strong touch him up again? I don't know if that's the right phrase, but I heard it yesterday from Beatles. Here we go. So here we go, the crowd ready. 2 on 2 to count. Strike him! Struck him out! Ted Page goes down, got caught guessing the wrong. Page with a punch out, and Page strikes out the side. After 6 complete, the 1930-39 blue team 7, the 1949-40-49 red team 1. Here we go. So Martin DeHidjo, another big hitter for the blue team, comes up to the plate. Deep fly ball to left center of Bragana. This could be gone. No, it's not. It's going to stay in. Kimbrough has it in center field, and that's 1 away. So Bragana's in on relief. We saw Hall of Famer Leon Day knocked out. Gave up 7 runs. Stone steps in. Bragana with the 1-1. Stone hits the ground between first and short. Dobie has it across the net, and another error. Another error for the red team. The 40-49ers. Is that Dobie or Lily? Doesn't quite say. But there's another error, and that brings up Vic Harris, and Stone is a threat to steal on first. So Stone gets the first. 0-1 to count on Vic Harris. The left fielder Harris bounces between first and second. Dobie, will he handle this one? Throws to Irvin at second. Irvin jumps over Stone. Double play. Stone went into second base with everything showing to rip up the shortstop's shins. Irvin acrobatically leapt above him and in one motion threw it down to first baseman Buck Leonard. No errors on that one. So after 6.5, 1930-37, 7 and 1940-49, 1. That brings up Bill Hoskins, the left fielder. And greetings to everyone who is online. Really appreciate the support. my mentor, or one of my many, many, many mentors, and I say mentors because he's just been always kind. He's our Red Sox fan, so I think he needs no introductions. He's sitting in the stands today, in the grandstand seat, courtesy of some tickets here from Rube Foster. So I don't know how you got those tickets. I see you sitting beside Effa Manley as well. So here we go. Here's Bill Hoskins at the plate. 0 for 2 today, Bill. Satchel is on a roll. 15 strikeouts. Let's see what he can do. This is no mug team either. Page steps 1 and 2 to count. Hoskins cuts it. It's popped up in the air. Josh Gibson runs back. And that's out into the stands. Our Red Sox fan is moved to his left, and the ball hits Rube Foster on the head. Here we go. Here's Bill Hoskins at the plate. Again, left-hander. 0 for 2 today. Page shakes off the pitch from Josh. Was a cutter. Grounded between first and second. They'll be having words with each other there. Page shook off Gibson, and Hoskins got a base hit to right field. Thrown in from Ed Stone in right field to say. And Ramon Bragler. So now I'm going to have to pinch hit. I'm not very good with baseball strategy, but even I know when you're 7-1 behind, you might as well give yourself a chance. And this is not a tournament, so I'm going to try and bring in someone who I have no idea how they bat. OPS, I believe, is a good way of looking at people. Am I right? On base percentages I'm aware of. So let's go. So we're going to go with someone who can make a difference. Now then, I don't know if there's a page you could use, but let's use Bus Clarkson, shall we? The right-hander on. I could use a left-hander, but there is no left-hander. Apart from Artie Wilson. Let's try Artie Wilson. Pinch hit. There we are. I like that. Thank you. So Artie Wilson comes in. And I don't know if I need to warm up pitches if I've got these stats on or not. Go to the bullpen. It doesn't say. Okay, that's fine. Here we go. Artie Wilson, a left-hand hitter, comes in. Oh, good-looking boy. Here we are. Artie Wilson, like a film star. I'm trying to find where his name is on here. Artie Wilson. Let's have a look at Artie Wilson. 4-time All-Star, speedster on the bases. So he would have been good for pinch running. And an opposite field in this particular team, which is full of All-Stars. No worries, Al, if you have to go. I'll catch up with you on the other side. Hoskins is at first base. Here's Artie Wilson. I can't do my American accent, I'm afraid. I'll try. Here's Artie Wilson. 335 hitter, 2 home runs, 70 RBIs. Satchel on the mound. Gibson crouches, gives him the sign. Run on first. Page checks first. 1 and 2 to count. Strike 3. 16th strikeout for Satchel today. Now, what accent am I using? I have no idea. But here is Henry Kimbrough. 303, 9 home runs, 63 RBI. Put a bit of flair into it, Marky. Here's Kimbrough is, he's walked, and walked. This is a man that can get on base. Satchel looks in. Kimbrough waits. He's had the better of Satchel today, and that he's not become a strikeout victim. Dobie's on the on-deck circle. 2-1 from Satchel. Kimbrough hits a grounder back up the mound. Page fills it to second for 1. And Hoskins slides hard. But once again, Monty Irvin. Hang on, am I reading something right? DiHigio gets it across. Wait a second, that doesn't match up. Kimbrough hits a grounder to first. Page fielded it. Threw it to second. Hoskins slided hard at second. There'll be no throw to first, right. Hoskins took DiHigio out. Right, got it. So Kimbrough is there. Right, got it. Here we go. Larry Doby, 0 for 3 today. 1 and 2 to count, and Doby gets some form of revenge. A base hit to left field. Vic Harris has it, and he will throw down to third, but the speedy Kimbrough is there. I don't know if this actually going to work for me. Here is Quincy Troop. 315, 14 home runs, 82 RBI. Struck out twice and flied to shallow right center. I have to go really deep. Gibson behind the mound and slow down. See if I can get it. Troop, a left-hand hitter. Page stands on the rubber. Runs at first and third. Page looking in. 2-0 to count. Troop cuts it to right field. And Stone converts on the ball and a base hit, and Kimbrough comes home to score. Yeah, Bill White I do know. So here we go. And Leonard, Buck Leonard, I'll just have to go deep and slow, I think. Try and give it a southern twang if I can, without hopefully I'm not offending anyone with my Brit accent. I better not do the Jamaican accent, because that would be really funny. Here we go. Leonard, left-hand hitter. Page looks in. He's got 16 strikeouts. Good Lord. The Black Lou Gehrig struck out in the fifth. Runners on first and third. 3-2. Ball is high. So Buck Leonard finally gets some productivity from Satchel today. And now the manager is asking, does he want Roosevelt Davis to pitch? Yes. So Satchel's going to lead the ball game, folks. And Roosevelt, in fact, no, this is the team. What is going on in my head? Roosevelt Davis is in there now, so that inning was over. Apologies. Something's going on here. Is it changing the colours? Anyway, Roosevelt Davis is in. Satchel is on the blue team, of course he is. Sorry, apologies. Roosevelt Davis is in. Let's have a look at Roosevelt Davis. Rosie. It's going to be Rosie from now on. Rosie Davis led the league 3 times in 3 games pitched. Led the league in games pitched. 20 years, known for his spinner and the Emery ball. If anyone could tell me what an Emery ball is, I'll be very, very happy. Let's continue. Thank you for anybody watching today. I appreciate the support. Like I said, I'm a Brit that's heavily into baseball, always has been. And Beatles eternally turned me back onto baseball. Our Red Sox fans showed me I wasn't the only one on the planet that did what he did. I just used to do it in my room, in my head. I love boxing, I love cricket, I love soccer. I'm a big soccer fan. Baseball, I've always been into. American football, yep, absolutely love that. I'm a big Bears, oh my God, Gary Glitter. I'm a big Bears fan and a big Raiders fan. In fact, more of a Raiders fan than the Bears. I love American sports in general. Athletics, I'm a big keen fan. Having lived in the Great Britain, Jamaica, and the US, you can imagine I'm exposed to athletics since I was a young guy. So, yeah, here we go. So Roosevelt Davis on the mound, and here we go. We're in the 7th inning. I couldn't tell you which part of it. The bottom of the 7th inning. Monty Irvin 0 for 3. Monty's had a terrible day today at the plate. Irvin steps in against Davis. 1-1 the count. Deep fly ball down the left field line. Foul. Vic Harris is going over to make sure it's foul. So the bases are loaded here. Just so we know, Satchel Paige pitched a beaut of a game. Now, where does it show Satchel's line? I cannot see. Does it show it here? No. It doesn't show it there. Let's go back to the ball game. I'm always afraid now to go back to it. Here we go. So here we go. Monty Irvin at the plate. Davis looks in. 1-2 to count. Yacker. What does a yacker mean? Monty cuts and misses. Monty Irvin has K'd 4 times today. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. We've played 7. We're going to the 8th inning now. I think it's telling me I have to do something. The computer's taken over. Jefferson is in, and Alex Ratcliffe, brother of double duty, takes it to the left field. And Bill Hoskins lopes easily over and catches the ball. 1 away. Jefferson on the mound in relief. We started off with Hall of Famer Leon Day, who gave up 7 runs real early. But Bragano came in on relief, held the ball game, but just that we haven't had anything since. Jefferson, let's have a look at Jefferson. This is Steve Tate's file, not Dave Koch's or Dave Cook's. This is Steve Tate's, but I have to give props to Dave Cook as well for an amazing game, which I hated years ago. I absolutely hated, and now I absolutely love. I don't know what happened there. Played for several teams between 1937 and 1948. Won an MLB championship with the Cleveland Buckeyes. Who are the Buckeyes? Anyway, rated 4.1, not that high, just as well as coming on in relief. And Jefferson looks in, and here he is, Dixie, part of the $1 million infield. Anyone want to guess all 4? 1-1 account. Say hits a blooper to third. Howie Easterling has it. I'm getting to know Howie a bit better now. 1 away. Score is 7-2. The 1939, despite the dominance, they only hit 9 hits. They've just hit some big shots. Jefferson at the plate. Rosie Davis. Is the computer going to bat for him? Probably. And here's George Scales, 312 hitter. And Jefferson paints the corner with a 2-2. Scales goes down looking. And now we have a guy that I absolutely love coming in. The man that's coming in to pitch is a man called Slim Jones. And Slim Jones, for me, has a tragic story. But he was a Triple Crown winner, the only, to my memory, my reading, and I've only been doing it for a few months. To my memory, Slim Jones was a Triple Crown winner in 1932. I'll just have a look. Steve has put some stuff in here. He led in 1934, apologies. Led the league in ERA, wins and Ks in 1934. A dominant curve end fastball. But he's been brought on in relief. These are all-star teams, I might reiterate, or must reiterate, because, you know, this is just... now then, I've got another one on here, Legends Sports Universe. Another man I watch on here. I've mentioned you earlier today, Legends. The stuff you're doing with MLB, the show in particular. I'm sure you do the basketball as well, using, is it 2K Sports? I think I'm right. Thank you so much for the support. Really, really appreciate it. Over here, the time was being asked is 8. So it's 6:25 in the evening. It's getting a bit dark. I'm in Cardiff. I can see the hills. I can see lights in the hills, and it's raining very slightly. Unlike in Chicago, on the neutral field you see on the screen, where it's clear and the winds are calm. Although we've had a big home run from Josh Gibson today, and we've had a big home run for the opposing team, Ted Strong. Took Satchel out, but Satchel 16 strikeouts. Been immense. I've also tried on my new Bill White accent, as our Red Sox fan calls it. Let's get on with the ball game. So I have to go deep, change my accent, if I can. I'm just practicing it. I'm not going to use it necessarily. But Slim Jones, the sad story about Slim Jones is that Slim was an alcoholic, sadly. And while that's no crime, what was sad was he swapped his coat one cold night for a drink, I believe. Fell asleep and nearly froze to death on that night. Was taken to hospital and sadly died a couple of days later. Such a waste, because he would have been better than he actually was. And he was actually quite young here in 1934. He was just 21 years old. It's sad. And there are some stories about these Negro Leaguers that do capture the imagination, not just because of their talent, but also, you know, it's a different era of life, wasn't it? And how they lived. Yes, Cardiff and Wales. That's where I am at the moment. I'm a Londoner. I lived in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. Tuned into WR, WOR, WGN, and a big boxing fan now. And I now live in Cardiff and have done for 20 years. So my accent's all messed up. Here we go. Jones. 0-2 the count, and Easterling hits a ground to first. Jones lets it go to Wilson. Wilson underhands it to Jones. 1 away. Slim Jones here trying to stymie the scoring, although it has been started for quite a while. Ted Strong at the plate, 315 hitter. Strong is 1 for 3 today. Struck out last time, but he has hit a home run today. He looks like a switch hitter. I'm sure he batted lefty earlier on in the game. So just a quick check. I don't know where. No, he's a switch. I'm right. And that's the thing. You get to learn the players as you go along. And I'm really, really enjoying this. Huskins on the deck. 0-2 the count. Struck him out. So as I predicted, Slim Jones is a bit of a strikeout pitcher. And here we go again with a sad story. Here we go. Josh Gibson at the plate. Behind the plate comes some words for Bill Hoskins. Hoskins grounded the pitcher, fly deep down the right field line, and grounded a single between first and second. It's 1 for 3 today. Bill Hoskins, and here's Slim Jones. Did a cameo appearance here as a reliever. Jefferson on deck. 3-2 the count, and a line drive down the right field baseline. Ed Stone has it though, cuts it off, throws it to second. Hoskins dives the tag, and he is safe. So Bill Hoskins at second base. And now that brings up Willie Jefferson, the pitcher. Now, do I hit for him? He's a 244 hitter, but he is an all-star team, so we're going to go to the bench. I know this guy Benson is pretty good, but if it's versus a lefty, let's have a look down the line. It looks like this guy Austin might be the man. Let's have a look. I don't know how Beatles gets us to manage. Here, Pee Wee Austin. There's another name here. Born in Panama, a talented bunter. But it's 2 out. We don't need a bunt. We need a hit. So we're going to bring him in. What's his name? Pee Wee Austin. It's a pinch hit for the pitcher Jefferson. Here we go. So Slim Jones looking for his 3rd strikeout in his 1 inning. Man on second. Austin steps in. 3-1 the count. High and outside, so that did work. Austin now trots down to first base. 2 men on. Can they recover? Yep, Joe Calzaghe's from here. Colin Jones is from here. Calzaghe's obviously the best Welsh boxer of all time. But here we go. Henry Kimbrough at the plate. 303, 9 home runs, 63 RBI. Slim Jones now looking for that third strikeout. He's given up a walk already. 2 men on. His team trails 7-2 in the 8th inning. Kimbrough at the plate. 2 into the count. Kimbrough swings on a hard ground at second. The legendary Say gets it at second. Throws to first. He's out. So we need a pitcher now at the top of the 9th inning. I need to go to my bullpen again. I've got Henry McHenry, which I love that name. Big Daddy Bird, or Daddy Bird. Or I'm going to go for Salazar. I don't know who there is. I know the others, you see. So I'm going for Salazar. Well, Salazar. Sounds like Solosov from The Godfather. Here we go. Coming towards the end of this ball game. Thank you for all those who supported me today. Much appreciated. A very good hitter and pitcher that was known for a sharp dresser. So Salazar comes in. The girls in the crowd like him. Here we go. Benjamin, 301 today. Sorry. He is walked, bunted, grounded out. So in terms of his stats today, he's 1 for 2. Salazar looks in, making his debut today. 3-2 wide of the plate. Walks Benjamin. So Salazar making his universe debut tonight. And here we go. So in the United States today, it must be about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So thank you once again. Colin Jones was awesome until I think he walked into Don Curry's left hand, I think it was. I can't remember. He cut him up really badly. There's a guy called Owen. Oh, sad. He had a fight, Lupe Pinto. Very sad. Johnny Owen, that's it. I think it was in 1980, and he died, sadly. He's from Wales. I've got some stories about Welsh boxers as well. A great boxer from the UK, by the way. I've got a story for you, Al. If you remember Errol Christie, you might remember Harold Graham, but there's a guy from British middleweight in the 80s called Errol Christie. Had a legendary fight with another fighter called Mark Kaler. But Errol Christie, look him up. He has a very sad ending for him, but was a very talented boxer, Al. While you're on the subject, and I was in a Uber the other day having a conversation with someone about boxing. So as you just mentioned it, yeah, and Colin Jones got smashed. I remember watching that back in the 80s. Here's Judd Wilson at the plate, big old Judd. Lance Salazar has a walk against his name. There we go. They're trying to just stop the bleeding, and they have done. 1 and 2 to count. Salazar kicks, throws one bounce to Irvin. Irvin across to Doby. Doby's made 2 errors, throws it to first to Leonard, and they get the 2 outs. Double play. So Salazar making a good start here. Here's Josh Gibson, 2 for 4 today, and he's hit a 3-run home run already today. Let's see if we can see something else from him. So Josh digs in. 0-2 to count. Gibson swings straight through it, and he's out. So I'm already liking the effectiveness of Salazar. So we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Can the ballers make up a 5-run deficit? No, I don't think so. Especially with Slim Jones on the mound. Slim might even get 3 strikeouts. I'm going to predict it right now. He will, apart from Larry Doby. Here we go. Jones is ready. He shakes that one off. 2-2 to count. Struck him out, just like I said. Slim Jones is if you ever get a draft and you have this would be good. Christian Carlisle, yeah. Fought the second fight. I mean, I love British fighters. I love American fighters. Jamaican fighters, obviously, again. My main man, I think I was asking you the other day with Anthony about Mike the Body Snatcher McCallum. But there's another champion we had in the 80s as well. Jamaica had in the 80s. I think it was a featherweight, or what's the one below featherweight? Bantamweight, called Richard Shrimpy Clark. There you go. One for you. We had Simon Brown. Jamaicans had Simon Brown. In Wales, we've had Calzaghe, and in Britain, I mean, I claim all the countries as my own because I've got such a mixed citizenship. Here we go. Quince Troop at the plate, 14 home runs. Slim Jones looks in, 1 out. Bottom of the 9th inning. Slim trying to wrap it up here. 1-2 to count. Troop swings and it's popped up. They can't handle Slim Jones. goes to first, and Judd reaches up, and that's 2 out. So down to the last out, and it's the great Black Lou Gehrig, or people said he's nicknamed the Black Lou Gehrig, but actually he was more like hammering Hank Aaron. So really, the question I ask is, what's the difference between Hank Aaron and Lou Gehrig? Well, if I'm right, wasn't Henry Aaron a right-handed hitter? But why did they compare him to Lou Gehrig? I don't think it's as powerful as Gehrig. This is Steve's file. He's at 27 home runs, and I think Steve took a slice, 3-year slice, and he used MLEs on it. So, but Buck Little is clearly a Hall of Famer. So here's Slim Jones, who probably should have been in the Hall of Fame had he had lived long enough, to wrap up the ball game. 0-2 the counts. Buck swings, and just as I predicted, 3 strikeouts. There's your ball game. Slim Jones, if you're doing a draft with this file when it does come out, probably in a month's time, there is a player to look out for if I don't draft him first. So I've really enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed the broadcast. Thank you so much. I do love boxing, so if any of you want to hook up on boxing. Simon Brown was awesome, wasn't he? Simon Brown was, but didn't he run into trouble with a left hand? Someone sparked him out. I can't remember who it was. So let me just first of all say thank you for the support. Much appreciated. Thank you for Legends and Al and anyone else who joined today. I'm very new to this. Although I'm not new to broadcasting, I'm new to the consistency of broadcasting. I don't have the accent. Thank you so much, Al, for sitting on my shoulder throughout this. Thank you, Legends, as well. Like I said, Beatles and the gang. They've often, Maurice Blocker. Was it Maurice Blocker? Maurice Blocker, but didn't Blocker also get smashed at welterweight by my man, the Ragamuffin man? In fact, I'll tell you a story. So I was a young man. I was working in McDonald's in Hackney. So in McDonald's, for whatever reason, all those boxes used to come in. And one day I was behind the counter, doing my thing as a young man at the time. And this would have been, I would have been a manager at the time, so I was doing some managing at the time as a young man, making my career. And it was late in the evening, I saw this man kind of come in, he looked really rough. Really, really rough. And I thought, oh, poor guy, I wonder what's happened to this guy. And someone said to me, that guy used to be he's one of the greatest boxers Britain's ever produced. I said, well, who is it? Because he weren't Runnigan, and it weren't anyone I'd remember. It weren't Bruno, and I've seen all of these guys right up to my face. So I said, no. So I was treating the guy really nice. He was really polite. He was so polite. Good-looking guy. Really polite. Just he didn't look himself, though. That's the only thing I would say. And they said, that guy beat Roberto Duran. Said, what? Joking. Of course, I'm a big Duran fan, right? So, yeah, no worries, Legend. He said, yeah, that guy beat Duran. I said, no. How could this guy beat Duran? And anyway, I went home and looked up the books of this guy. Never knew his name, never asked for his name. It was Kirkland Lang, as I found it later. I said, wow, it was Kirkland Lang was the guy I saw in the restaurant that day. He wasn't looking at himself, and sadly, Kirkland, he passed away not that long ago, I don't think. But what a legend. But there was a guy in England he just couldn't beat. And I think it was Colin Jones from Wales, Al, and Legends. It was him, and he just could not beat Colin Jones. And it was a big thing, because he was probably the most talented of our boxers in the UK. I keep saying our, because I've got so many countries I can claim. But one day, I love your broadcast of boxing. There's a game out right now. I love Glory Days, although I don't have the board set. So I have to end up doing the, the PDFs, which are great, but it's a lot easier to set up with the, the board game, which I envy you watch you play it. The other one, obviously, I love Jim Tronzo's Talk About 2. I haven't played it in ages. I'll probably start doing some broadcasts on that at some point. I'm an 80s man, to be fair. I do like anything 80s because that's when I kind of got into sports. I still follow boxing to this day. I couldn't tell you who I like. I think boxing's had a resurgence since we won't necessarily agree with it. But yes, it was an upset of the year when he beat Duran. The thing that I believe about boxing, it went through such a lull until Anthony Joshua came along, and obviously Tyson Fury, and it reinvigorated boxing. But I think the turning point, funny enough, was the fight between Mayweather, you won't believe this, and the guy Conor McGregor. For some reason, it seemed to attract, well, not some reason, it's obvious, it just brought another new crowd to boxing. So now we have, I can't believe 2 YouTubers can get in a fight like KS1 and whatever the Logan is it? I don't even know their names. I don't follow them that much. But two can generate more money for a fight than the real fighters, or I couldn't even call them not real fighters. They are real fighters. I never thought I'd see KS1 as a fighter, or the two brothers, I can't remember their name, as fighters, but they clearly are. And you know what? They're actually entertaining. So why wouldn't that sell? So someone like Ryan Garcia, do you see him as a fraud or not? I'll wait for the answer before I wrap up. But yeah, just wanted to know if you see him as a fraud. And as for Maurice Blocker, I believe Hunnigan went on a stretch where he beat Blocker. He beat Maurice Blocker to a pulp. I could be wrong, but I know he beat him. He beat... Did he face Breland? He couldn't beat... The problem with Hunnigan couldn't beat Breland, and he couldn't beat Marlon Starling, the Magic Man, who I think out of the three was probably the best, but I think Starling couldn't beat Breland. But I don't think Hunnigan could beat either of them, despite the fact that he was a good boxer, very aggressive. But anyway, what I'll do now, thank you so much for this. Like I said, credit to Steve Tate for file. I've got one of my, call him my mentor, even he doesn't know he's a mentor, our Red Sox fan, who's probably everyone's mentor, or one of them. Beatles Eternally, another one of my mentors. Robbie Wertberg, Ken Castro, Big Clue, always making trouble, Big Clue. So many people give me the confidence to go for it and just have a go. You know, I wouldn't be able to do this without anybody like that, who I've had to watch and be entertained by. I hope you found this a little bit entertaining, even if it's me switching between my slow voice. I might do it for American football. I think I'll do a great Pat Summerall, Al. I'm pretty confident I can do that, because I watched so much of him as a kid, like we all did. But I definitely think I'll have a shot at that one. As for baseball, I couldn't copy anyone's voice. I'll do it in my own voice anyway. What the hell? It's my broadcast. But I'll drop into it every now and again. But thank you once again. Appreciate it. I'm now going to get some fish and chips and have a cup of tea. You know what I mean? And relax for the evening. And like I said, I'll be tuning into all of your wonderful channels. Our Red Sox fan, Legends University, some great stuff. I love RGL's 1988 replay. I was reading about Mark Eichhorn today and seeing, because of the broadcast, how Mark Eichhorn for the Jays was a particularly slowest, is it the slowest, one of the slowest pitchers of all time. I just couldn't hit him. I find it really intriguing. And I'll do some more League research. But anyway, guys, take care. I will see you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Legends, I'll catch you on the other side. Our Red Sox, I'll catch you on the side. And anyone else lurking, I'll catch you on the other side as well. Alright, thank you for coming in today. Bye-bye. Or as we say over here, ta-da!